What are some of the differences in sourcing landmen between the different regions you guys are in?
I just love it when a project ends and you talk to that first guy and he goes, I have 12 other guys coming off a project too who would love to work that. And I'm like, this is the perfect day. This is fantastic. But to Brent's
How often does that happen?
2008, yeah, but
Awesome.
it is hard because I mean, especially in this region, I'm sure it's the same in every region. You've seen the same resume 15 times. You've talked to every other broker they've worked for and haven't had good experiences, and it's hard to find that diamond in the rough. Um, and it's hard to develop a diamond in the rough from a green person. So I would think it's mostly a lot of luck and timing. To maybe we talked about Mike and Kelly on just on the employee side, and we got extremely lucky that the timing worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And but also to Brent's collaboration point, you know, if there are 10 folks from Texas working on an Ohio project and all of a sudden something pops up in Ohio, it's between Travis and Dodge or whoever to deal with that internally of moving people around and moving the chess pieces in the right places you need them. So I think that goes to our communication skills between our managers, what you need when you're operating in multiple basins.
Yeah. You have to invest in that, especially like to your point, that you have to make sure that and this is going to sound bad, you have to make sure that the mentality isn't that your contractors and your field people are your possession, right? It's, how can I help the team? How can I help the big picture? How can we make sure that the focus is on the service of the client and what's in the best interest of the client, the job. And that takes work, because everybody's stressed, everybody's responsible and worried about their job. They have to, make sure that they understand there's a bigger picture and there's a bigger thing at play here. And we all want to be able to help each other when we can. And, last thing you need is infighting or someone holding on and clinging to somebody because they need them for something. And then maybe they don't have something for a week and they go get a job and they're out of the company altogether. Right. So they do a good job of that. All of us, it gets times it gets a little spicy, but you have to manage that. And I say all the time, I'd rather work with somebody who gives a damn. I can kind of put the brakes on someone, but boy, it's hard to put the hunt in someone, and so it's a balance, but we put a lot of attention and effort into it, and it works. It works. Yeah. What are y'all's thoughts?
Oh, go ahead.
We talked a lot on this kind of every 6 months when we do this, twice a year when I get Steve on the podcast, we talk about recruiting. What are y'all seeing? What are you seeing about new people interested in getting into the business? Like in your part of the world, Steve, what's the sentiment? Are you hearing more interest?
Usually, and there hasn't been any outreach to anyone, right, from our side in the past 6 months. It's mostly family members or a friend who might be looking for a different profession. It's not the, man, I got 10 guys who I know would be awesome at this, and how can we bring them in? It's more of a one-off kind of basis right now up here. I don't know how. I mean, we tried the recruiting in that other group, training some folks previously, and we were lucky enough to get 4 to 6 people in that. I think it goes back to the what can you pay me, and I can go to
What's
Buc-ee's.
my ceiling?
I can go to Buc-ee's and make $25 an hour, or I can do this and not. So it's hard to get younger people motivated because they see a ceiling as soon as they get out.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing much of it. I mean, I had somebody reach out the other day, their son been in it for 2 years looking for a job. So of course we're pursuing him. But that was probably the first one since, for months that a relatively new person coming in the job. I think there's been a shift at the university level. Typically used to, you have these students, they'd be reaching out for internships. We still get a little bit of those internships, but not near as many as we used to. And we definitely don't get as many reaching out saying, "Hey, you're a brokerage. So what would my job look like when I get out of college if I came to work for you?" You know, those discussions are all but gone up here, at least. Um, and I don't know that many universities are really pushing our side of the business anymore. They really want to get them in-house jobs, which is great when they can get them. But when it's down, we are a great resource. And I think we should be more involved in those discussions and know what these kids should know that we're an option.
Yeah. It's well, like we said, I think the biggest challenge with bringing new people into the business is how do you get them to stand on their own, right? Especially when you're an outsourced services firm like we are. Um, clients are they're paying a day rate for that person to accomplish some work, and so you got to have the right types of projects. Um, Hopefully, if this greenfielding type mentality continues, you have those jobs where you can have a stable team where you can start to maybe incorporate some newer, lesser experienced people into the team and train them up. And hopefully, if those projects stick over the course of a year, 2 years, then in 2 years, you've got somebody who's really can start to stand on their own. To Brandon's point, you get a 2-year landman right now. If there are any 2-year landmen out there right now, Dudley Land would love to have you. And I think that's the mentality everywhere, right? So, we're all scraping and fighting over all those new people into the industry, and I think there's a tremendous opportunity for them. There's a chance for this next wave of people that come into the business over the next 5 years to be the oldest of the young, kind of like Brandon, Steve, and I, and Bryce, and our generation of folks in our company are, where they're the next generation of folks. And I think there'll be opportunity, and I think we're starting to see the winds blow a little bit in the right direction as far as upside from a compensation standpoint in certain parts of the country. But training is always a challenge. We talk about it all the time. At some point, we're going to have to do something and think outside of the box, and we've got some ideas of how we would do it. It just takes some client support, takes the right types of projects, being out there to support it. So we're right on the cusp of it. The fact is, we get the same resumes, over and over of folks that have kind of been on the circuit, and unfortunately, we just can't afford to put people that we can't trust on jobs, and that's in any business. I think we're all dealing with the same challenges, for sure.